that. So I'd like to turn it over to Jim Allen, Jim Allen Group. Thank you.
So the last thing I want to do is sound like a pep rally, but I don't know how to not sound like that with what's going on in our world and in our market. First thing I want to ask you to do, if you're a developer and you're in the room, please stand up. Any developer. All right, I want to thank every single one of y'all, because right now we couldn't eat, we couldn't live, we wouldn't have anything if it wasn't for y'all, because y'all are bringing bread to the table for every one of us every day, and it's what we need. Okay, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention some heroes of mine personally that have passed this past year, and I think, you know, icons in our industry, which means, you know, there's going to be room for some more of you guys to stand up and start becoming the next icons. But we lost Zach Bacon just a few weeks ago, and if you don't know who Zach Bacon is, you really haven't been in the real estate market here in the Triangle for any length of time. I think every major real estate company outside of York started through the Zach Bacon Group and through Zach himself. Whether it's Fomble Morrissey, whether it's Coldwell Banker, it doesn't matter which one, all of them rode through Zach Bacon, and he passed just a few weeks ago. Another icon that we lost this past year is a buddy of mine, Jim Adams. And I think Jim Adams, if you didn't buy a lot from Jim, then you probably haven't built in the Triangle for any period of time. And, you know, we need replacement for those guys. You know, we're looking at the projects that are dropping off. That's one of the biggest concerns I'll give you right now, is we're not putting enough lots in the ground right now. And, you know, my friend Matt's back here, and we talked about we need to be voting and we need to be looking at who we're voting for. Well, Matt Winslow is one of our own. We want to support him. I want to tell you this, and I don't care whether you're a Republican, Democrat, don't care what you are. I do want you to start looking at people's voting records on housing, though, because they don't change. You know, they may talk the new game, but you go back and you look at how people have voted, and it's going to impact what's happening to us. We're in a critical crisis right now in the Raleigh area, if you're not aware of it. You know, I've been told that Mary Ann Baldwin's thinking about not running again for mayor. I think that's a huge mistake. I wish she would. However, if she doesn't, we better find a replacement that actually cares about housing and realizes the economic benefit of housing, because we drive the economy. You know, our industry solely, I don't care where you look, if you look at our national and our local economy, it's driven by housing. You guys in here, y'all are the local heroes. If you don't know it, you're the last big entrepreneurs that exist in this world. And what y'all do, if you think about the things we've overcome from 08, just if you were in business in 08 and you're still standing here after that bank crash, you should be giving yourself applause. If you think about the other things we passed, just this past year when the interest rate spiked in August, the housing market stopped and dried up for a few months. And if you didn't feel it, I don't know how you didn't feel it, because we all felt it. But now if you look, about the third week of December, December's never a time when the housing market takes off. The third week of December, it took off. And if you don't feel it, I don't know why you don't, because it's running at a pace that I've never seen it at right now. And we're not quite through the first 3 months, but through the first 3 months of this year, my team, and I can only speak for us, we'll definitely surge way past $1 billion this year. Our record year ever was $1.010 billion. We're on pace right now to do $1.2 billion this year based on sales so far. We're already over $252 million for the year, which is a crazy number to me. And from our $1 billion year is $80 million ahead of our best year ever. So I can tell you that the market is going crazy. The biggest thing that we're going to worry about is supply, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But I want to get back to why it's so important to vote. You know, right now, I've seen more voter apathy, and especially those who have wealth. We're the guys that don't go and vote because we think, well, you know, it's going to happen anyway, and whatever happens, we don't really need to worry about it. We do, because our biggest obstacle to creating lots right now is our own government. It's our policies we're putting in place locally that's stopping that from happening. You know, one of the great things that Matt and some of the other guys have done for us recently is being able to roll back the tax stuff. So we got 5 years we can count undeveloped land and still be at that tax rate if we're a developer. If we're a builder buying lots, we got 5 years that we can keep that lot in a lot tax rate before we have to start paying it for the home side. Same thing with our inventory. So they're doing things for us that we got to remember. You know, one other thing before I really get into the meat of what I want to talk about today, and I want to talk about local heroes, because I don't think that enough of us are active in our own HBA. I don't think we're active enough in our statewide HBA, and I don't think we are enough in our national HBA, because, you know, we're changing policies everywhere and we control enough of the votes to really make an impact. But I want to ask Wes Carroll to stand up real quick, because one of the local heroes for me is Wes Carroll. And if y'all aren't familiar, you may see Wes as, hey, just a guy that's building beside you. But let me tell you, you don't have any clue how much of his time he's putting in to make sure that every one of y'all in here still has a job and has something you can do. But I want to commend you, and I appreciate it. You know, the great thing is you don't have to watch a lot of pie charts to me, because I didn't know how to make them. But the other good thing I will tell you, though, is I agree with most of the charts that we've seen up here. I think some of the parts that Jonathan stepped up on earlier, one part I'll disagree with. When he talked about the market from 800 to 1 million not being healthy, it's not that that market isn't healthy, it's that we have no supply of houses to supply that market. It's not about that market wouldn't be just as great as everything else. It's we can't put lots on the ground at a price point that makes that affordable to build in. And if you haven't noticed, when he was talking about in Raleigh-Durham, we're down 46% in the resale market. So new homes are what are supplying the market as a whole. You know, when I looked at this year, and I'm looking at year over year supply and the supply chain, because that's a big part of everything for us to look at, we're now 20 counties that are in our local MLS. You know, we stretch from Fayetteville on one end all the way to Burlington on the other end. We stretch up north to Vance County. I mean, we are a huge market. Wilson has now come into our local market and into our MLS. So, you know, the footprint of where we're working is so much larger than where it has been in the past. But we only have 7,117 active listings as of 2 days ago in our current MLS. The problem with that is we're going to sell about 49,000 homes this year, which means we have to turn over current inventory over 6 times just to meet what the current demand is. And if 49% less people are putting the resales up for sale, how do we meet that demand? Well, we've got to do it by building more new homes, and building more new homes in every single price point. Good news, you know, one of those things y'all have overcome is the supply chain stuff. You know, for the most part, outside of transformers, outside of electrical conduits, you know, most of our supply chain issues we're curing. You know, I know a lot of you, and I'm talking to you about it, even in the upper end, you're starting to see fewer days on market or fewer days it's taking you to actually build our homes. You know, when I looked at last year and the year before, I was thinking it was going to be 2 and 3 years before y'all got some of my upper end houses finished because of the supply chain. Thank God that number is coming down a little bit. It's going to allow us to make up some of those supply issues, but urban sprawl is real. You know, Wilson County, Sanford, Burlington, Franklin County now is one of the fastest growing counties there is in the state. You know, it's never been, but it is right now, even though it's got water is a main supply element. You know, we're only allowed per subdivision 50 units of water if we're lucky enough to get those 50 units of water. So if you're looking, I don't know that there's a county I would say, hey, don't go out there unless you're, and we talked about this last night a little bit, so you'll get to hear from Ted in a little bit, but unless you're like in Moncure where you don't have any water, you don't have any sewer, and you don't have any septic, outside of that, I don't know if I can tell you there's a place not to go. One of the things I want to cover today, because I want to take some illusions away, the NAR ruling that just passed really was driven by a lot of the big companies selling leads. Those guys got the lawsuit stuff started because they wanted to do away with buyer's agency. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. They're trying to make it so that consumers aren't represented anymore. And I want to tell you, nothing's really going to change except I'm no longer allowed, as of July, to advertise in the MLS what my commission payout will be to an agent. I can put it on my local website. I can put it in the newspaper. I can put it anywhere else I want to put it but my MLS, which that's almost crazy. So, you know, I'm not sure I agree with the NAR settling this lawsuit because I think long term it's actually going to cause house prices to go up. It's going to cause commission rates to go up, not down. They're trying to bring them down, but you're going to start getting offers from people, especially if it's a house that you're a little concerned about, and you're going to get this agency confirmation thing that you had never seen before. Or if you have seen it, it's only just say, okay, well, I already agreed to pay this. That's great. You're going to get people writing you offers, and they're going to send you something that's an agency confirmation form and say they want to get paid this. And it may make their buyer's offer look less attractive. So, you know, if they come in and they want to get paid 6% instead of the 2.5% they've been being paid, depending on how badly we want to sell it, we may make some of those adjustments. I don't think the long term of this will have any impact. I would have loved to have seen the lawsuit play out, but the NAR decided that they'd rather not spend the money on legal fees. But I don't think it's going to impact us. There are 19,000 active real estate agents in the Triangle. I believe every one of those people is going to still be employed, and I think they're going to still be trying to sell your homes, and I think we still need them. And I think buyers deserve representation just like sellers do. So I think, you know, we need to gloss over that a little bit. You're going to hear some of the news get more and more positive. Right now, anything that happens, our news coverage can't wait to make it look crazy. They can't wait to say, oh, this is going to be horrible. Housing prices are going to slash. How is that possible when inventory levels are so low? It's not. You know, so don't really listen to the things you're hearing. I will tell you, I just think that it'll be a slight adjustment. There'll be a few agents that are a little afraid they're not going to get paid, so they're going to require you to sign something with them saying they're going to get paid a buyer's agency commission. That's it. And outside that, I don't think we'll deal with it very much. You know, the other things I'll say along those lines, though, is I think we still need to cooperate with them regardless. I don't think that matters. We're viewed now not as the Triangle, which we were in the past. We're the state of North Carolina now. You know, people who are coming here aren't just coming here to live in the Triangle. They're coming here for the whole state, and the whole state is healthy right now, guys. And you know, I want to praise anybody. I don't care what market you're building in, but I do want to say that we should all be excited about it. we got this new thing. It's called the luxury market, and it's huge in the Triangle, and the numbers are crazy. Let me tell you, past 12 months. Past 12 months, we sold 1,885 homes above $1 million. Only 261 of those were new in the past. I'm sorry, I apologize. 646 of those were new. In the past 2 months, though, listen to how much it's growing. Past 2 months, first 2 months of this year, 460 have sold already, and 261 of those were new, just in the first 2 months of this year. So when you start thinking about that, we were only about a third of total sales in the luxury market last year. Right now, we're over 50% this year. And it's because a lot of people who have luxury homes aren't moving out of that resale, but an awful lot of people coming here are buying luxury right now. 199 homes sold last year over 1.5 million in the Triangle. 104 are pending as of the first week of March. Think about that. Wait a minute. 199 last year, all year, above $1 million, $1.5 million. This year, we already have pending 104, and we're not through the third month of the year. That's crazy. Okay. Our team this past week sold $33 million worth of houses last week. I mean, that's crazy numbers. You know, and a majority of these things now are getting over $1.5 million and over $2 million. Last year, 79 total homes sold in the Triangle over $2 million. 79. This year so far, just in the first 2 months, not even including March, first 2 months, 47 of them are pending already. So start projecting these numbers out. We're going to be, you know, easily over $200, $2 million sales in the Triangle this year. Easily, if we keep on the projected rates. You know, I look at it and I think the numbers projected out to 282 sales above 2 million this year in the Triangle if we keep on the current trend. Now, part of the problem is going to be, can we supply it? You know, we're supplying it mostly through urban infill. We've got about 4 new communities that are supplying that price range of home, but we don't have an awful lot of it. You know, we're going to see more and more. And if you looked at that slide, and if you remember, that part of the market's one of the healthiest parts of the market. That 300 to 400 or 300 to 500 is super healthy. But above $1 million is just as healthy, I can tell you. And we haven't seen, like, I don't know about you, and I hope everybody in here has somebody from Apple living next to them already, but the Apple impact hadn't happened yet. You know, there's just a few of them that have sprinkled in here so far, and we've hired some locally, but it really hasn't happened yet. So, and all of those folks are coming with dual incomes that are going to definitely splash in this other direction. So be aware of that coming. You know, but one of the struggles we're having, and I don't like to bring up negatives, but the luxury buyer has a different expectation. And I don't think we're doing the best job of managing that. I'm going to tell you the 2 areas I think we're weak in and I think we need to improve. One of them is setting their expectations. So as an agent and as a builder, we need to do a better job of expectations with them of what the home building process is going to be like, and that it's not going to be a perfect home when we get through it. But, you know, one of the weaknesses I see is our subs and our sub vendors are not doing a great job with their warranty right now. Half of my phone calls I get every week are not about the builder being horrible. They're about the painter promised they were going to show up at 8 o'clock. I stayed till 4. I'm a busy executive. I took off the whole day and the painter never showed up to do my punch list. That's a problem we're all dealing with, and I think it's something we're going to continue to deal with a little bit, because that busy executive that's buying that luxury house doesn't have the time in their lives to make the phone calls to the person that's going to cut their grass, to make the person who's going to clean out their roof gutters and the other things, because they're trying to run companies and they're trying to run our economy. So, one of the things I think we need to start working on, and your company may not be big enough to have a warranty department. I mean, that's one of those things that I'm aware of. And some of your subs don't have enough other help to actually come back and do their warranty work. If we'll work on that, that's one of our few things. Now, there's a friend of mine in the crowd today. His name's Matt Sheehan. He's back here sitting down. He bought a home from Homestead, one of our builders here in the Triangle, a couple of years ago in Avalere. And he started a company recently called Exhale. And Exhale is basically to help that luxury client start meeting some of these needs, and to help y'all as builders. I'm not here to really promote his business, but I'm saying businesses like his, you're going to see more of them spring up. They'll help you in two ways. One way is if you don't have the ability to have somebody handling warranty for you, they'll take over that portion of it for you. But the other side is a direct handoff of your luxury buyer at the end of your warranty period to a company like that, so they're not calling you for the next 5 years after that, they're calling them instead. And, I think things like that are things, that's going to be an industry that sets up because we now have a luxury market, and it's going to make a change. One of the biggest problems we're going to have is how do we supply the inventory that's needed for the Triangle. The last 7 days, and this is the most recent information you could possibly get, in the past 7 days, 174 homes went pending in the Triangle. Only 20 new active listings hit the market. So if we only have 20 new active listings hit the market in a week, and we have 174 homes disappear, how do we possibly keep up inventory-wise? Well, one of the things I'm going to suggest to y'all, and it's going to be something a lot of you are not going to like, you got to start pricing your homes sooner. We've got to get back to the point that I'm not putting houses on the market when they're 100% complete, and they're going to start selling sooner for you because there isn't any inventory for those people to go look at. Our days on market, I was talking about how they weren't quite the pandemic numbers. Wait till June. In June, you're going to see numbers that are going to look like there's a pandemic going on because our supply of houses is just simply not going to catch up. The new tech sector jobs are coming. They're not here yet, but they are definitely on the way. I want to suggest to you, for the custom guys in this room, that you start considering doing pre-sales again. I think your numbers should be more stable. I think you're going to be capable of pricing the home out without having to really worry about, what the supply chain is going to do to you and what the costs are going to do. So I really need that part of my inventory filled in, and I want you to stop viewing the client as somebody you don't want to talk to. We should never hear this anymore, and shouldn't hear it this year especially. I can build the spec anyway and it's going to sell no matter what, and I really don't even want to have to talk to a buyer, because I hear that so often from y'all, I cannot tell you. And I get it, but we can't make our numbers keep jumping off the boards if we don't start talking to customers again. So please consider starting to do pre-sales again. I don't want to end with all bad, because I think everything's bright. I think that we're going to see increasing prices this year. It's going to be way off the curve from what he predicted earlier, because the lack of supply is going to make prices continue to jump. I do believe we're going to see lower interest rates, and I think you're going to see it before election. I think, the other guys may disagree with me, but I believe that you're going to see those start before election, because either party is going to have difficulty going forward if people aren't happy. You're going to see people not be willing to vote. I want to encourage you to encourage everybody you've got out there to vote, but that's really all I've got today. But what I want to do is, everybody save all your questions for the end. When we get through today, we're going to allow you to ask any of us anything you want to ask, but I want to encourage you that this is going to be the best year you've seen in the Triangle. I don't see anything on the horizon that's going to be stopping it, so don't be discouraged. If you got a little bit of inventory sitting right now, be patient, because it's going to go away because there's not something coming to replace it. And consumers are getting the word out, and they're starting to feel more comfortable buying again. So don't worry. Thank y'all.